Welcome to this Seth and Sean Sports Radio show. I'm Sean Palmer. That's Seth Kamens. Hey, I got that right. I think that's the first time. Before we start, everybody, let us say a little prayer in the morning to the Seth and Sean Sports Show fantasy football team. Do you know Jamar Chase could have scored 36 points and we would have won that game? Seth, he could have scored 36 points and we would have won that game. And he scored 59.
Well, 9 years, 2 titles, 4 second places. I can't say we're the Buffalo Bills. Maybe we're the Dallas Cowboys of the 70s.
This one was hard to take. This one was just I think it was harder to take because we got a 1 out of our tight end, Forrest Moreau, who we replaced when he was healthy, the best tight end in football outside of Travis Kelce. So that would have been probably another 16 to 18 points. And Derrick Henry losing, our best player and still making the champion. You were right when you said losing Henry lost us a dynasty because we had an epic team this year. We did.
We did. Look, it was a weird year. We had 4 guys who are on permanent DL. I don't know if we're going to keep any for keeper purposes. I don't think we're going to keep any of them.
Yeah.
Ironically, Cam Akers comes back today. Frustrating loss.
Well, let's say it first. Congratulations to Warwick, right? The Warwick Wildcats, who finished the regular season a whole 7-7. Basically, they were the New York Giants of the year, whenever they played the.
Actually, they were the Seth Kamens J Rose League for the third year.
This year.
I went 7-7.
I'm saying so. They finished 4th in our division and go on a run. And they did, and they beat us 181 to 158.
159.
And again, their top 3 players, Jamar Chase with 59 points, Mahomes had 24, and Dalton Hilliard scores 18 on a 39-yard, I think it was a run, 39-yard touchdown run with 3 minutes to go.
Who the hell is Dalton? Who's Dalton Hilliard?
He's the 3rd string running back for the Tennessee Titans.
I thought Dalton Hilliard, wasn't he the running back for the New Orleans Saints? Is this his son?
It might be. I think it's Dalton. No, but it's Dontrell Hilliard. Excuse me,
Dalton was a running back from LSU in the late 80s, early 90s.
He was on the Vikings for a while.
I think he was on New Orleans.
Hold on. Now, I think he was on both. Oh, that's why they made Google. Dalton Hilliard. Let's see. Nope, he only played on the Saints. Well done. Who's the guy that played on the Vikings?
Darren Nelson?
Maybe that was it. Yep. So he scores a huge 18 points with what did he do? He had 8 carries for 45 yards and a score, and 3 catches for 33 yards. So, and by the way, 30 of the 45 yards that he had, 39 of them came on 1 carry. And the score. So that was 15 points right there.
Yeah. I mean, look, we did as well as we can. You picked up, we did the right thing. You did it with Dante Foreman and Donnie, the running back for Jacksonville.
Yeah, we look, with the injuries that we had, I mean, you look at our bench. We had Waller, we had Jordan Love, who we just kept the whole year for what will be no reason. Michael Thomas, Cam Akers, Dawson Knox, and for those that might grill me for starting Forrest Moreau over Dawson Knox. By the way, Forrest Moreau got 1 point. Dawson Knox got a bagel, 0 points. Drew Lock, who actually played better than Davis Mills, but would have only gotten us 8. And Rex Burkhead, who had 13 points and would not have been better than any of our other guys. So, and then we had Henry and Dobbins on the IR.
Yeah. Look, we're in very good shape going forward. We lose Derrick Henry due to time limitations. But we have Cooper Kupp, we have Deebo Samuel, we can keep Aaron Rodgers, we can keep Darren Waller. We'll have our choice.
By the way, to be fair, this could have been worse. Just so you know. So he on his bench had Noah Fant, who put up 21 instead of Cole Kmet, who put up 5. And he had Braxton Berrios, who put up 30 instead of
right. Well, to be fair, no one was starting Braxton Berrios under any circumstance.
Well, the week before he had like 25 points too.
Yeah, but he's a Jet, so it's harder to.
He had 28 in his. Hold on, Braxton Berrios, 43, 55, 55, and 58, 113. In his last 5 games, he had 113 points.
It's impressive.
Yeah, because you know why? He's the number 1 kick returner in the league. And the Jets get scored on a lot. And we get kick return yards. So, I mean, that's why. So, it could have been worse. We could have lost by 50.
Well,
50. But you know what?
Jamar Chase only had 8 catches for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns.
At halftime?
One.
That was at halftime.
So, yep. So, for the second straight year, a disappointing loss in the finale. But I'll be honest, 9 years, we've placed in 7 or 8 of them.
And I will tell you, when the injuries started coming for us, I didn't anticipate us even getting to the finals. When we lost Daniel Jones, I was like, we're sunk. We don't have another quarterback. I mean, we lost Ryan Fitzpatrick in week 1. And then we held on to Jordan Love, so we didn't have another quarterback until we got Davis Mills, and that was a nice surprise. But if we don't get Davis Mills, we're not even in the situation where we were on Sunday.
Well, we have no other quarterback.
Well, I think we might have learned not to stash and grab next year.
Yeah, maybe we stash and grab 1 or 2, but we stash and grabbed 4, and we're not going to. I mean, we're keeping Cooper, we're keeping Deebo. I think that's a given, and then our third we'll have to choose between probably Waller and Rodgers.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a
or Cam Akers. You never know.
No. And I have done the Michael Jordan. I have 3-peated, which I've never seen in fantasy football before. I have not been thanked or congratulated, I should say, by one person in that league. Because I think
congratulations. There you go.
Thank you. You're not in that league.
No.
And if you told me before the year that I would win the championship led by Amon-Ra St. Brown, Rashard Penny, and the Chicago Bears defense, I would have thought you were out of your bleeping mind. But
is this not 1985?
Yeah, this is not the 85. This is not Richard Dent's not walking through that door. Mike Singletary is certainly not walking through that door. And I was 7-7. But to be fair, I also had the best games in the league the last 2 weeks to get me into the playoffs.
Right.
And then in the finale, I think I got the high point for the season. Yeah, I won by 80. I mean, and my best George Kittle got me 4. So I mean,
a heartfelt finale to our fantasy leagues, just in general, right? I mean, look, now we get into playoffs, and I got to tell you, I'm not all that exciid.
Well, why would you be?
All right, there's a game going on. I'll watch it because I'll watch it, but.
You could be sitting on a beach in 75-degree weather. There may be other things to do.
That's fair.
I have 35-degree weather and rain. So there is nothing else for me to do. The bright part is I do have a son who's obsessed with football. Although I don't think he quite understands it. We play but that's okay.
He doesn't need to yet.
No, he's 5. It's fine.
He's just got to be interested enough to watch with Daddy.
Yep.
That's all he's got to do.
That he is.
He has to be able to tell Mommy that he wants to watch football because that allows him to watch.
No, he has no problem. He has no problem with that.
No, I'm saying he has to tell Mommy I want to go watch football.
No, he has no problem. He has every time at night when I get home. He was very sad to find out that Maryland has no more football games this year.
Wow. Was he sad every time they lost?
He doesn't know they lost. He doesn't quite he knows, but he doesn't quite. He's not as sad about the Giants and the Jets being done because they're so lousy that it doesn't matter. Although, look, the Jets played wonderfully last week. That was about as good as you could have asked for. You were competitive. You played very hard.
And we lost.
And you lost.
Hallelujah.
As opposed to the Giants, who did not play very hard, did not look very good.
And still lost.
Which leaves us, I think, we're the 6th pick right now, and you're the 5th. Or no, we're the 5th, and you're the 4th.
We are the 7th. We are 4-7, and you are 5-8.
We're not winning this week, so we will.
Neither are we. We're playing Buffalo in Buffalo.
Yeah, you're not winning. Well, does this game do anything for them for seeding?
Yes.
Okay, then you're not winning. So
you're not winning anyway. We got guys going to snow who have never seen snow. We're not winning. No, we're not winning. But I'll tell you one team that it's an interesting game only because of the history. Do you know Indianapolis has not beaten Jacksonville in Jacksonville since 2014?
I saw that somewhere. Yeah, that's weird.
That is it. And ladies and gentlemen, they're in the same division. So they play every year.
And they're Jacksonville.
Well, no,
they're Jacksonville.
No, but if you said hey, the Buccaneers haven't beaten Jacksonville in Jacksonville in
I get
years. It. They only play each other once every 6, so no big deal. But these guys play each other every year, and Indy has been good.
And Jacksonville, now, other than 1 year, has not. I understand.
And now if Jacksonville beats Indy, which would be I'd love it, but ain't going to happen, they'll knock Indy out of the playoffs. I mean, Indy needs help anyway, but they would be knocked out.
So I got a question. I was talking with Randy Zelia, esteemed owner of BSP, and who has some access to some people. They're saying for Russell Wilson.
Oh, here we go.
For the Giants this year, one of the 2 ones this year.
Yep.
A 1 next year, a 3 and a 4.
Do it in a heartbeat.
You would do it in a heartbeat?
Heartbeat. You're only giving up one of the ones? Yeah.
Well, you're giving up the 1 next year too. So you got 2 1s, a 3 and a 4.
Okay. Heartbeat.
I wasn't there, but I'm coming around on it.
I got a question for you though. If you're the Giants, and they say instead of one of the ones you give up Saquon Barclay, are you in?
Yeah.
I think you're more interested in that deal.
Yeah. Although I don't know why Seattle would with Penny, and I guess Penny's a free agent. You know what you have in Carson. Yeah, I don't know how Barkley's in an impossible situation.
What's Barkley's value right now?
He is a mid-tier running back as of now.
You hope to get a 2nd-round pick back for him?
Yeah, that's about it. So this would get you a first.
Well, it'll get you next year's first, which is this year's 2nd. That's the way the value is. So that's what I was saying. You give up this year's first, one of the 2, and it would probably have to be the higher one, if I had to guess. So
no, I mean 5 or 8. I don't think I don't see. I guess
you give up the 5 pick, Barkley, a 3 and a 4. I mean, if you're the Giants, I wonder where the cap room's coming for $33 million.
That's the other thing is you're I guess Jones. You have Jones on a 5th-year option.
You'd have to trade Jones in that deal.
Right. So that probably knocks out the 3 or the 4, to be honest. He's worth that, I think.
I mean, Barkley's on a $9 million deal for so that would take the salary right there. The 2 of them.
That would be about 15. Wilson's about 32.
No, if he's on a 5th-year option.
He's not on. Oh, he's going into a 5th-year option.
Right. Hold on. Let's see. Let's do the actual math because math is important here. So it's important more here than anywhere else. You're right. Next year's cap number is $8 million.
Yeah.
Right. It's not the 5th-year option.
Sorry, he's the fourth going into a fourth.
Yeah.
Saquon, I believe, is
Barclay-
going into his fifth. Is Saquon going into his fifth?
Yes. Well, yeah, he's 1 year beyond.
Yeah, I guess the question is with Saquon is
He's
what
seven.
exactly does Saquon want?
His cap hit is $7 million.
Right. Well, what does Saquon want? I guess that's the confusing thing to me. Does he see himself as a McCaffrey or a Kamara? From a talent-wise, I can see that, but the last 3 years he hasn't been that.
Well, actually, the last 3 years he's been exactly McCaffrey. That's the problem.
Injury prone.
I'm saying that's the whole problem, and that's why you don't pay running backs for that amount.
No.
He's been Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, he's been all the running backs that you say don't pay a lot of money to, then they pay a lot of money, and here we are.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you got Michael Carter in what, the fourth round?
Yeah. We got one Michael Carter in the fourth, one in the fifth. I'm not sure which one was which, but yes.
Right, but the one that's – you understand the one I'm asking
Yeah,
about.
Javonte Williams, I think, was in the third round, right?
Yeah.
From Denver.
All serviceable guys.
Yep. Chris Carson was in the fourth round.
Well, that was years ago. I mean,
I'm saying, like, you go around the league, first of all, Raymond Stevenson was in the second. Demetrius Harris, I believe, was in the third or fourth.
Darian Harris. Wait, Demetrius Harris?
Demetrius is on New Orleans. Sorry.
Damian Harris.
I
thought Stevenson was later than that. I thought he was the fourth or fifth.
The point is the same, right?
Yeah.
These guys later and later.
I think we realized of the top 10 running backs in the league, there is not one of them that hasn't had a health concern in the last 10.
Right. We went through them last week.
Right.
The top 10, or the week before, excuse me. The top 10 paid running backs have all missed games this year.
Right. And prior to this, the one who would the only one who hasn't is Jonathan Taylor. But he's, I think, a second year back. So We'll see how that plays out.
Oh, we were talking not yardage. We were talking about
salary based.
Salary cap. Which is the most important number when you're talking about health.
Yeah, agreed. No, look, neither team is, the difference is the Giants most likely will – Gettleman's gone. I think Judge is gone, but I'm not – although we're not –
you've come around to Judge being gone now.
After the free agent – after that press conference last week? Yeah.
What, the one where he said that people quit on Pat Schumer?
Yeah. This doesn't sound like a guy who's ready to be a head coach in New York City.
The funny thing is, if I recall correctly, and then I looked it up and I did, the Giants won the last two games under Schumer.
They did.
So, he's reminding me more and more of Ray Hanley every single day. And that's not a good place to be.
No. And, look, they're a team in the middle of nowhere. At least the Jets have cap room. They'll have more. I assume CJ Mosley's gone after this year, although he's been excellent for you. But
I don't think so. I think he's got more.
He's got more guaranteed money.
I think so. I think he's got one more guaranteed money.
So who are you rooting for now?
Look, I love CJ Mosley. That was my guy.
I know.
They have a potential out. You're right. After next year, they have a potential out. So the cap hit this year, if they take it, is $20.5 million. If they take it next year, it's only $3 million.
Okay, so he's got one.
They're not taking it this year.
No, he's got 1 year left with the Jets. That's fine. So I mean, we're through.
Wait, who am I rooting for?
Yeah, who are you rooting for?
The Buffalo Bills. And I don't know who plays Seattle, but whoever plays. Oh, Seattle's playing.
No, they play the Rams. They play the Rams.
The Rams.
Yeah, they play the Cardinals.
Oh, they're playing the Cardinals. Yeah, and
no. I don't care about Week 17. I'm talking about in the playoffs. Who are you rooting for?
Are the Raiders making the playoffs? Because if they are, then I'm rooting for the Raiders.
I think they're in a play-in game with the Chargers.
They are. And
the way the season is gone, it's going to be 42-41. The Raiders are being left 28.
With a minute left and Daniel Carlson kicking a field goal?
No. With 4 seconds left. And the Chargers are going to have 4th and goal at the 2.
And miss it.
No, they're not going to kick the field goal because the
Right.
Chargers don't kick field goals.
Right.
And it's a 50-50 whether
Well,
they're
don't
going to.
worry. Neither does Joe Burrow. So, I mean, my Lord, that was agonizing to watch. Like, it was such a beautifully played game on both sides. It really was.
So weird. And Zach Taylor's caught nothing on this. 4th and goal.
No,
35
first and goal. Then 2nd and goal. Then 3rd and goal. And then 4th and goal.
Kick the effing field goal. For the love of God. Kick the field goal.
What got me is that Burrow was hurt.
He got hurt on the last play.
Right, but I'm saying when he hobbled off, I was like, how is Taylor not going to get crap? At least at that. Why don't you put Brandon Allen in to hand off the ball at that point? If that's all you're going to do.
Who knows? I mean,
and they got
that is the team I'm rooting for in the playoffs.
And they got bailed out, right?
They got bailed out on the pass interference call.
Yep.
If that didn't happen, think about this.
That
doesn't happen. Kansas City goes the other way. I mean, maybe it goes into overtime, whatever it is, and Kansas City wins this game.
No way. Mahomes is getting a field goal out of that.
I forget how much time is left. That's why.
Okay.
So, I mean, if there's 50 seconds, then yes. If there's 20 seconds, then probably not.
They took 3 straight knees, so I figured there were probably 50 seconds left. Here's the thing, right? First of all, I'd like to pat myself on the back for saying that I trusted Cincinnati this year, right? I mean, I did make that very, very solid prediction. That's number 1. Number 2, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them in the playoffs.
Fair.
I'm impressed with their defense. I was impressed with Trey Hendrickson this year. I mean, I thought that was a 4-year, $64 million overpay for a guy that was a one-trick pony. Well, 15 sacks later, he may still be a one-trick pony, but he's a really, really good run.
He's a damn good pony.
He's a damn good pony. Props to TJ Watt. I mean, and props to JJ Watt. Did you see his post today?
No.
Where he goes, and I'm paraphrasing here. He said, it's great when there's only one guy that's had 2 20-sack seasons. Unfortunately, it's your older brother. And then he said, go get the record, kid. Like, the thing is, I don't think any of these records mean anything to me right now because there's 17 games.
Well, Cooper Kupp said that, in comparison to the Jerry Rice record he's chasing.
Yeah.
He's like,
garbage.
I did it in 6. He goes, if he had broken it at this point, that's one thing, but it's 17. Look, the 17th game is ridiculous. We said this.
And we're going to go to 18, so it won't even matter anyway.
Yeah, it's all absurd. And you think there's a lot of injuries now? Good God. I mean, look, I love football as much as the next guy, probably a little bit more, but at a certain point, it's enough.
Yep.
I guess we'll wait to kind of do our year in review in football.
And I'm just wondering when there's 18 games, fantasy goes what? Another week, right? I mean, it's got to go another week.
Yeah, it goes 15, 16, 17.
So Carly will be amazingly happy about this.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So
she's so proud.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's proud of a 3-peat champion. I mean, why should she?
She didn't understand what that meant.
Does she understand when the money comes in?
No, she never sees it.
Okay, fantastic. Carly, I love you.
Well, you say that because she's not watching.
Yes. Okay, so Monday is Black Monday, right?
Yep.
Yeah. How many? How many are gone? Is Judge gone?
I think so.
He's gone on Monday? They're just going to.
There's no look. Gettleman is gone. They're going to do it on Monday, or they're not going to. They're not going to wait.
Okay.
They got to get a GM in.
All right.
So the GM needs to know whether he has to hire a coach or not.
All right. So Judge is one. Let's keep going.
Zimmer's gone.
Who?
What did you say? Zimmer's gone. They're going to the divisions.
Dan Campbell?
No.
I'm asking.
No.
Darren Bevel is gone.
Yeah, but let's go through the divisions. You're jumping. Okay. NFC North. The Vikings. Mike Zimmer's gone.
Gone.
Matt Nagy is gone.
Gone.
Go to Matt. The floor is there. Campbell's there. Arians is there. Sean Payton.
He's only gone if he wants to be gone.
I'm wondering if he wants to be.
To go where?
I don't know. That team's kind of in nowhere land.
There's one place he could go, and
That's
New Orleans wouldn't stop him from going.
Nope. That's the team. Look, if I have my choice of anyone I can get as a Giants fan, I want Sean Payton. There's no question about that. The question is that the least attractive job out there, though?
And you want Sean Payton with Russell Wilson?
Yeah. I mean, look, sure, why not? The Giants.
Did you say is it the least attractive job?
Yeah.
Wow. Giants have come full circle.
Oh yeah, we're the Jets.
No, you're
of
worse.
The last 30 years.
You're worse. You don't have any cap room. You're worse.
Fair. We're a disaster.
Are you worse than Carolina?
I don't know Carolina's cap room.
No, I mean just as a job.
No.
I don't think
Actually, yes, because they have an owner who is trying to bring in the right people and is not afraid to make changes if necessary.
Okay, but they have the George Steinbrenner of the NFL that's not willing to give their guys time either, and gets involved and doesn't let the NFL people deal with the NFL.
No, I don't. I think he does. I don't think he plays the GM.
Really? You don't think Teddy Bridgewater was gone because of Tepper?
No, I think he has an opinion. I think he's involved, but I don't think he's not Jerry Jones.
Well, no, he's not the GM. That's true.
I don't think he's a shrinking violet in that regard. I think he's not Woody Johnson or whoever the hell your owner is, where they say nothing and just avoid everything. I think they want a quarterback. I think they'll trade. I think they'll make a run at Deshaun. I don't know if I would want to make a run at Deshaun, but
the only run at Deshaun that they have is their first round pick because they don't have their second, so they gave it to us.
You have Carolina's second round pick
for Sam Darnold, baby. We got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a third, and 2 fourths.
Don't screw it up.
This is Joe Douglas's draft. If he screws this one up, he's done. He's got this year and 1 more year. What are you looking at that's so intently?
No, just a work email. Sorry.
Okay, so you think that the Giants' job is worse. Okay. Is the Giants' job worse than the Lions' job?
No, because the Lions have $70 million of cap space.
Okay. But the job is not just cap space. It's not just what you can do on the field, to me.
Look, the Giants is a much more prestigious job.
Is it a better job than Jacksonville right now? Or does Jacksonville get the credit because they have Trevor Lawrence?
Because they have Trevor Lawrence and they have Josh Allen. Name 2 young, really studly players the Giants have.
Is it better than Houston's team?
Yeah, Houston's a cluster. Is a cluster. I mean, that's
is David Culley gone?
No.
Nobody else would take the job.
Why are you going to fire David Culley?
Well, nobody else would take the job anyway.
Right. You might as well ride him out for another year or 2.
Yeah.
Clear out all this crap.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready, Cesario brings in Josh McDaniels or whoever he brings in.
Yeah.
But no, he's not gone. So right now we're at 3. New Orleans is interesting. We'll see, but that'll be of their own volition.
How about Kevin Stefanski?
No. They'll get another year. Although, I mean, look, that team is disheveled. How about, do you think Matt Rule comes back?
Are you asking me, do I think Matt Rule comes back on his own accord or whether he gets fired? Those are different questions.
He's not quitting. He's got a $63 million contract.
Why would he not quit if there's a college job that will offer it to him?
There's no college jobs. What college job are you going to get?
What if the Giants were able to give him the job? And would Carolina let him out? I think they would.
They would want compensation. The Giants are not giving compensation for Matt Rule.
I think Rule, if that's the case, if you're saying Rule doesn't leave on his own accord, I think I think he's got another year.
I think he's got another year as well. So we're at 3. Okay. Is Pete Carroll in any trouble?
No, but Pete Carroll may leave anyway.
Yeah, he may leave of his own accord.
It's A or B. It's Russell or him. So one of them is not going to be there next year.
Okay. Sean McVay is going to be there. Cliff Kingsbury is going to be there. If for some reason if San Francisco doesn't make the playoffs,
no chance.
Okay, because they've missed the playoffs 3 out of 4 years,
and he's got like 5 more years on that contract.
No, he had a 6-year deal. This is the 3rd year.
No, he got an extension.
Did he? Okay.
Hold on. June 15th, 2020, he signed a multi-year extension.
Okay.
For 6 years through 2025. So you're right. He's got 3 more years.
Okay. So he's got another 2 years of being able to figure this out. Because that team, look, weird. No playoff, Super Bowl, no playoff.
It's also, he has to have a year with Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to fire him and
having brought in Lance to run his offense.
That's right. So they're not going to be able. I mean, I think they probably had that conversation last year where it was like you got 1 year with Garoppolo and then 1 year with Lance, and then we'll see where you are. You want to go to the AFC West? Because I think there are a couple there, potentially.
Let's go to the AFC East. Does Brian Flores have any problems?
I was thinking he might due to the fact that he's lost the last 2 games, or if he loses this week, he'll be the last 2 games. But Stephen Ross doesn't seem to have any Michigan guys in his back pocket this time, so I'm not sure.
Well, you're not hearing the rumors that Harbaugh wants to leave?
There's no way that happens now,
dude. That was the headline on the Athletic yesterday.
Really?
That he's now done what he's set out to do. He beat Ohio State. He won the Big Ten and he made the playoff. And there's supposedly Miami may make a run, supposedly Oakland may make a run, and supposedly the Giants may make a run. Just to see. I don't know. Yeah. Remember, he also took a big cut in salary.
Yep.
So,
first of all, let me be the one to apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Today will be the final show from Atlanta for the foreseeable future. In my move back and forth,
bye Atlanta,
hasta la vista, baby. In my move back and forth, I actually forgot we had a show yesterday, and I was on a flight during it. So that is why we are here on Thursday instead of Wednesday. So that is 100% on me. And
to be fair, usually it is my fault. The scheduling is my problem.
This one was definitely mine.
This one was not me.
When I woke up yesterday and realized it was Wednesday, I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, we have a problem." So anyway, so I didn't get to read The Athletic or anything yesterday because I was sitting in an airport working most of the day. Yes, at my new job. So I don't know. Do you think Harbaugh goes somewhere?
No, I don't, but I think it's interesting to bring up again. I also don't think there's an enormous amount of – I think it depends. I don't think the Giants go for a coordinator if they fire. I think they go for a retread because they've gone coordinator, new coach 3 times in a row, and it's failed every time. I think it depends on the team. I don't think Miami should fire Flores.
I don't think they will. It's not a matter of whether they should.
The Jets aren't firing Salah. Buffalo's not firing McDermott. Okay, since he's fine, Pittsburgh, Tomlin's not being fired ever.
Since he's fine for the next decade because they won an AFC North title.
Pretty much. The Ravens, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know how any team could have survived this. Do you think Harbaugh's in trouble?
No, not well. Harbaugh gets to write his ticket.
Well, no, it's funny because a year ago we were talking about this. That Harbaugh maybe.
You were talking about.
I was talking about this. Were you arguing with me? Were you disagreeing with me?
Okay. And I said that about Tomlin too.
Yep.
Now Tomlin, I love Tomlin. And I love what Tomlin's going to get next year, because could Russell cook in Pittsburgh? I love that idea.
Sure.
No, I'm just saying, would he go there? Remember, he's got.
No, I don't think that's his deal. I think he wants to go to a place where he can build his image.
Right.
Which is New York, New Orleans,
Chicago. Yep.
Well, he's not going to Chicago. It's Chicago just brought in Fields.
No. I'm saying those were the teams he said he would take it.
Maybe the Raiders. If the Raiders don't want Derek Carr.
To be fair, Derek Carr.
I would take Derek Carr.
Derek Carr has become a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah. And at a much more reasonable point, trade value than Wilson. You're not getting 2 firsts for Derek Carr. You're getting a second and a third?
Well, no. You get a first for Derek Carr.
If as a Giant, you're not getting a top 10 pick for Derek Carr.
No. But
he only has 1 year left on his contract also.
But let's remember, Derek Carr's contract is a lot better, even if it is. I mean, Derek Carr has 1 year. Hold on.
About 20?
So he's 29 years old. So
fine. Quarterbacks go for another 7 years at that
point.
Right.
So he's got $22 million next year. Right? By the way, there's no cut cap hit, but it doesn't matter. And then you look at Russell Wilson. Now, the good thing about Russell Wilson is you have him for a number of years, right? It's not just 1 year and then you have to franchise him or anything. You got him for 2 more years, but his cap hit is $37 million.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I haven't been that enthused about getting him. I
don't think you as the Giants are looking into Deshaun Watson. I don't even think that's.
Have you met our owners?
Right, I said I don't think that's a possibility.
And to be fair, I mean, the guy could very well end up in jail. I'm not running for him either at this point. So, do you think you brought up Stepanski? Do you think he's in trouble?
I brought up Stepanski because that team underachieved, like dramatically underachieved. But I think the bigger question is, do they bring in? I don't think Stepanski's gone. This is his first year.
Do you think Mayfield's gone?
That was good. No, but I think they bring in competition for him next year.
Mariota?
That would be interesting competition. I think Baker next year has his option, right? That's the 5th year.
Because that's the Saquon Barclay draft.
Right, but his number is a whole lot more, right? His number is 19 million.
He's a quarterback. Yeah, and he's
right. So he's 19 million. So either you re-sign him this year to a mega deal or a Derek Carr type deal, right? 5 years, 125 or something.
I don't think you can do that if you're Cleveland at this point.
Well, if you can't do it if you're Cleveland, you're taking a really big risk that Baker breaks out and has one of those years, and then you have to franchise him at like 40.
You look at Cleveland's offense right now.
Oh, it should be a running attack. It shouldn't even be.
So what? I'm not sure what breakout you're expecting. Your wide receivers, I mean, your best one is Jarvis Landry, who's a really, really good slot receiver, but he's not a number one.
He's also like 33 years old at this point.
I don't know if he's 33. He just had a lot of injuries. Beckham never worked. Peoples-Jones is okay. Njoku's okay.
Yep.
Where do you see their three best players on offense
are running backs.
Are 2 running backs and an offensive lineman in Bentonio.
Right.
So I don't see how he breaks out. At best, he becomes Kirk Cousins, like the game manager, a high-end game manager.
Yeah.
You're not paying a high-end game manager $35 million a year, $40 million a year.
Okay, so we got 20 minutes left and a whole lot of football that we could talk about next week, right?
Okay.
So let's move on to the thing that we can't talk about next week, and that's the national championship game, which comes up on Monday.
Is that on Monday?
It's Monday.
Are you sure?
9 p.m.
Are you going to be watching it?
From Georgia.
With Georgia fans?
And Alabama fans.
They can be in the same room?
I hope so. Because
is this your goodbye party?
It's one of them.
How many goodbye parties do you have? You were there for 2 years.
I have one tonight, one tomorrow, one Saturday, one Sunday, and one Monday. All different types.
Are you getting laid in any of these parties?
Unfortunately, probably not.
Mm.
I know. I know. Anyway, moving on. So I know next to nothing about both of these teams. I will be fair. But I did watch, I obviously watched the Orange Bowl, and I saw Georgia manhandle Michigan at the line. Is that something, I mean, offensive, defensive line, they were all over it. Is that something that we can expect or something that is going to happen against Alabama? Because their line they won that game versus Michigan, both offensive and defensive.
Yeah, look, Georgia's defense was considered among the best ever until the Alabama game. And Michigan, who's had the best running game in the best offensive line supposedly in the country, got absolutely manhandled.
Right.
It's a mental thing. Georgia's more talented. Georgia has better players. Georgia's better on both sides of the ball. I mean, maybe not. I mean, even the quarterback, Bryce Young, who won the Heisman, Stetson Bennett's numbers are are comparable, if not better in a lot of ways. But it's Georgia, Alabama.
Right.
And Alabama's won 7 in a row off them. I think Georgia wins the game. Do I feel overly confident? I don't know how anyone could feel overly confident about Georgia having lost 7 in a row against them and getting whipped. There's no question. There's no other way to put it. They got whipped.
Yeah.
In the SEC title game. Brian Robinson's been a revelation for Alabama. And I was wrong. I thought Cincy was going to give Alabama a game. I did. They didn't. I mean, they were more competitive than Georgia, Michigan, but not by a heck of a lot. I'm hoping it's really good. What we've noticed over the years is that the semifinals, with a couple exceptions, I think it was like out of the 30 semifinals, there's been 3 or 4 really, really good games. Georgia, Oklahoma a couple years ago was amazing. Clemson, Ohio State was really good. But most of the games haven't been great, but the finals have been good. And I'm optimistic that we're going to have a really, really good game on Monday night. I'm rooting for Georgia. I think they win. I think they're a better team. I'm not sure if that matters.
Okay, that's fair. Well, in the last, now that we went from the NFL point of view, let me bring it to the college point of view. Is Jim Harbaugh returning to Michigan? Give me a prediction.
I think so. I do. Look, now you want to make something that would be funny. Well, what if Carolina fires Matt Rule and brings in Jim Harbaugh, and Matt Rule is now available for Michigan?
Best of both worlds?
Could be. As I said, at The Athletic, Bruce Feldman from The Athletic wrote this.
Okay.
Wrote an article about this. But my gut is he's not there yet. I think there's probably – I think he'll go back to the NFL eventually. I don't think he's a permanent college coach.
Right.
But I think he wants to see where this can go. This team, for the first time, has momentum. On offense, they have a lot of young players. McNamara, the quarterback, was very good. They brought in a really good recruiting class. They lose Hutchinson, who'll be the number 1 pick in the draft. They lose Ojabo, who'll be a first-round pick for somebody on a defensive line. But I think he stays for a year or two. I think he can go back to the pros whenever he wants. So I think he takes another year or two and then makes a decision.
That's fair. Okay, and I'm going to jump back to the NFL because there was something that went down this week that I don't think I've ever seen before. Because I didn't see Vontae Davis do it live, but a player literally quit during the middle of a game. It happened to be the Jets game, and Antonio Brown. And I'm not sure you caught up on what happened today with all of this, where basically Antonio Brown has said that he was hurt and Arians required him to go in. And because he refused to do that, he left. And now he'll undergo some ankle surgery at some point.
Who knows?
Does Antonio Brown show up on any other team? ever again, or is he done? And then I got a follow-up question to that without even knowing your answer, and it does not matter.
Yes, he does. Someone's going to do it. The Raiders. I got the Raiders. I forgot what happened.
Wait a second.
I forgot what happened with the Raiders.
You know, Mayock went. By the way, we never touched upon the AFC West with regards to coaches, so we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, Mayock already went down that road. I don't think he's going back down that road.
I forgot. Yeah, someone will pick him up because at some point you're going to have a position of like you look at the Broncos. There was 3 receivers were out. They don't have a number 1 anyway. If Fangio's back next year, they need to make the playoffs or he's gone. If the situation is bring in Antonio Brown, who at 85% of what he was is still a top 20 receiver, and Jerry Jeudy's hurt and Cortland Sutton's hurt, and you have a good quarterback who can throw the ball, assuming there'll be a trade somewhere, you do what you got to do.
I was going to say, look at Andy Reid. They took Josh Gordon, right?
They took Tyreek Hill.
Yep. And didn't apologize for either one of them.
He won a Super Bowl and went to another one. He's not going to. There's no one's going to.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Andy Reid's the guy that's unapologetic. I'm going to do it my way, much like Bruce Arians, mind you. So yeah, do you think? Well, we just touched upon Vic Fangio. Do you think he returns? Is he gone as of Monday?
I think so.
And how about Rich Basica?
I think first of all we have to see if they win.
What if they do win? He's not gone Monday, but he might be.
No, he's not gone Monday. I think he'd have to go to a give or take the conference finals to keep the job.
And that's why I'm rooting for that team, because I want that guy to succeed.
There's nothing – well, we've seen this before where you have an interim coach go on a hot streak.
Not really in the pros, though.
You've seen it, but we've seen it.
Where?
Well, there's very few interim coaches. I mean, think about it. How often do you see an interim coach? How many people get fired during the year?
That's true. But I'm saying we see it a lot in college. We don't see it a lot in the pros.
Well, we see it more in basketball. Like a good example actually would be my alma mater. If Danny Manning leads Maryland to a top three place in the Big Ten.
Yep.
Danny Manning, for the most part, did not succeed at Wake Forest. Didn't really succeed at Tulsa. Has no recruiting. Right. He's not. It's not like he's in Kansas or Kansas State where he's a legend.
Yep.
Like nobody knows him here.
Yep.
But if he leads them to a top 20 position, he's not going to. But if they ended up 23-9 with a 4 seed, it may be really hard to fire him.
Well, I was going to say Ed Odron more than anybody else, right?
Fine.
There is your at USC. There is your interim coach that became the coach, right? Clay Helton.
Clay Helton, sure.
Clay Helton, the same thing, and that happens at colleges in football more than it does
because you don't see football coaches fired during the season. Forget. Right. I mean, how forget Urban Meyer because that's a moral firing.
Yeah,
for the most part, that's not you're a crappy coach firing.
It might be that as well, but yeah.
No, they would have waited till the end of the year.
Okay, fair enough.
If he didn't have the issue with the bar, and he didn't have to kick the kicker, and he didn't
fire
the racist.
Phillips got fired. Wade Phillips and Jason Garrett, right?
Right, but we're talking 10 years ago.
Okay,
You're talking anomalies.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
So, is Darren Bevel going to get the job in Jacksonville?
No
Absolutely
chance.
not.
No chance.
So, I don't think now. Look, the Raiders do things differently because they're the Raiders,
which makes them awesome. By the way,
yeah, not always the smart thing to do, but it makes them interesting.
It does that part about them.
So I don't think they keep them no matter what. I think Mark Davis wants to bring in
Pete Carroll,
Jim Harbaugh, a name.
Yeah,
they're Las Vegas. They're glitzy. They're this. They're that.
Well, they are this and that.
That is true. They have been fun to watch this year.
they're fun to watch almost every year. That's the thing, is that team, look, Antonio Brown was part of that chaos. Henry Ruggs was part of that. Now, that's not
Wait a minute. No. Henry Ruggs is not, that's not a fun.
No. Interesting, not fun. Let me say interesting. Okay. We got 10 more minutes. I wanted to touch upon a jersey retirement that happened last night. You have done your top 50 NBA players. I have not ranked them. I have them, but I have not ranked them. I'm wondering so last night, Dirk Nowitzki's jersey is raised to the rafters. Dirk was one of my favorite players to actually watch. Like,
he was a blast.
He would, and part of it, as I always say, is I admire skill in basketball more than I do athleticism. I always have, because I have no athleticism, so I should admire the thing that I possibly could have. I also don't have any skill, but I think that's where you were going with that.
I wasn't saying
that look. But Dirk was I say Kevin Durant is the most like Larry Bird. Dirk was just a bigger Larry Bird.
No, he didn't pass as well. He didn't rebound as well. I don't think he's Larry Bird. But that doesn't preclude him from being a top 5 small forward of all time. I think I probably, again, I don't have my list in front of me. I probably had him around 20, would be my guess. Low 20s.
Yep.
He was revolutionary. He was a 7'2" guy who could do anything.
Everything.
He could do everything.
Except play defense.
Yeah. I mean, he scored in a variety of ways that we haven't seen in the NBA, really, up to that point.
Was he a combo of Bird and McHale? Is that
no, because he wasn't a down low. It's funny. We're saying everything he wasn't.
Well, no, his fadeaway was Patrick Ewing-esque. I mean,
yeah,
that fadeaway was brilliant. And that's probably why I loved watching him, was because I loved when Ewing would do that fadeaway. Because if you hit that as a 7-footer, you were unstoppable. There was no answer to that. And Hakeem had the same thing, right? I mean, that baseline fadeaway or that elbow fadeaway, you want to know what Dirk was. That's what Dirk was. Dirk was, I'm going to hit my shot no matter where the heck I want to shoot it. He was a shooter. And probably one of the top, 3 or 4 ever? Just as a shooter?
Well, the problem is, we now have this weird idea of who the best. I don't know if Stephen Curry is the best shooter of all time. I don't know if he's a better shooter than Larry Bird. Larry Bird was an amazing shooter. It's a different era. It's a different way you play basketball.
Sure.
So as much as I love Stephen Curry, but I hated the comment.
Well, Stephen Curry also, right. I think to your point, and I agree with you, in that Stephen Curry gets his buckets in different ways, right? Yeah. So when you had Larry Bird, the Celtics didn't really run fast break offense. They just didn't get down the floor that fast.
They didn't have to, and the 3-ball was not prevalent in 1986.
Right. So it was a lot more set plays than it was anything else.
But
today's game is
in the half-court game, Bird could come up with plays that were just absurd.
Right.
I mean, to me, you have the 3 best small forwards of all time are probably Bird, James. Again, I'm assuming I'm putting James as a 3.
Sure.
James, Bird, and Durant. You want to throw Havlicek in there a little bit, you can. I wouldn't put him at that level. But
I was looking at Dr. J actually in my head.
Dr. J is I have Dr. J is more of a 4. But
okay, fair enough.
Nowitzki was phenomenal. He's the best international player of all time. Him or Olajuwon, take your guess.
Sure.
Both magnificent.
Or Duncan.
Yeah, I guess I don't really consider Duncan far, and I probably should. Duncan's the number. If you're going to include Duncan's the best power forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Duncan was born in the U.S. Virgin
Islands. Just so it's kind of a
push. And he did play for Team USA and won world championships, so you may not realize that he was.
And he played on the Olympic team that didn't win the gold, that lost the bronze, that won the bronze, I think.
That's right.
But Yeah, he was a wonderful player to watch. He was the best. He's the best European player. I mean, Giannis is on his way, but he's the best European player of all time in the NBA. He's a top 3 international player, top 20 to 25 guy all time, beyond class act. You're happy for him. You were happy when he won the title for him.
And I'm even happier that Jason Kidd asked him to come back on a 10-day last night.
Did he?
Yeah.
That I did not know.
He was making a joke about it, but he was like, look.
I'm not sure he would. I'm not sure. I mean, look, he's only 2 years out. He probably could still play.
He's like, we got 10 days available. Are you? He just shook his head. But you look at the difference. We remember Dirk when he first came into the league, and he looked so much young. He looked so young. And now he looks like the grizzled vet, which he obviously is. We got 4 more minutes. I'm going to go first. The reason I'm wearing the sweatshirt today is in honor of one of the worst record coaches in Syracuse football history, but yet made one of the most interesting remarks I've ever seen from a football coach.
Talking about Greg Robinson.
I am. So Greg Robinson passed away at age 70 from Alzheimer's. And I remember watching Syracuse play Notre Dame when he was coaching. And Greg Robinson did not do well at Syracuse. He was recruited from the defensive coordinator position at Texas. He is if you mentioned Greg Robinson, no Syracuse fan was happy with the hire, and everybody was happy with the fire after 4 years. And
sounds like Maryland and Randy Edsall.
And miserableness. But Syracuse beat Notre Dame in the last minute in what was the best win he had in Syracuse in his history. And they were about to interview him. I think it was NBC or Fox. And I said this, I wrote this on Syracuse.com, that I was more proud to be a Syracuse alum on this day than I had in the previous 10 years. And Notre Dame started playing their alma mater. And Greg Robinson on national TV said, I'm not talking until this is done. You respect the alma mater of the visiting school the same way that you do your home school. And for somebody that was in the band and played the alma mater every single game and saw people walking back and forth and doing their own thing and not respecting it, that was one of the moments that I remember about him in his life, is the respect that he showed even in defeat, the visiting school. So rest in peace, Greg Robinson. You were a good man. You may not have been a great coach at Syracuse, but certainly a good man and a life worth remembering.
Well, we have, I guess, a quick contrast of 2 COVID stories. On one end, the return of Kyrie. Not sure how that's going to play out during the year. And look, he's going to play 4 games during the play. He's going to play every other game. Or is it worth the Nets even getting the 1 seed so they can have him for the visitor game?
For Game 7.
I mean, Jesus.
Think about that.
What a weird situation that is. Look, that team is decimated between injury and COVID. I don't love that he's back, but I guess you do. I guess, look, they did what they had to do and they're paying him, so sure. Might as well. But it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Speaking of interesting, never thought I would see the day where a country would kick out a 10-time Grand Slam champion. But this is a country that has been decimated for 2 years by COVID. And if you're going to do an exemption, take this from someone who knows, if you're going to have an exemption within your company or at your tournament you're running, you better be able to damn well back it up. There better be proof of it that suffices to fulfill whatever is necessitated. And if Novak Djokovic, look, this is not, I don't think there's anything against Djokovic. Australia loves Djokovic. He's more loved there than he is in any other country in the world other than Serbia. But this is not the time that you're going to get these random exceptions because you're a superstar.
This is a public health crisis.
Exactly. And that supersedes this. And if you choose not to get the vaccine, and look, we've talked about it ad nauseum, then there are ramifications that come with it. This is a ramification that comes with it. Yep. And good for Australia. I mean, I don't know all the specific legalities of it, but I mean, you've read through this. You're a lawyer.
Look, they held their ground. That's all that needs to be said. I made a rule, and everybody follows the rule. And I'll tell you, that is the reason why I think the Kyrie thing is crap. I really do. I think they should have suspended him for conduct detrimental to the team, and they shouldn't have been paying him. But that's another discussion for another time. So next week we'll talk more about Black Monday and see if Joe Judge is still employed by the New York Football Giants. Look, maybe the Jets will be ahead of the Giants for once. We'll have a coach.
I hope so. I hope you guys beat Buffalo.
No.
I hope the Giants lose by 72.
No. Okay. For Seth, damn it, I had before. For Seth Cavins, I'm Sean Palmer. We'll talk next week from Miami. Or not Miami, from Boca. See ya.
Boca.